business opportunities which have opened up for you out there. And particularly if India makes it easier to do business, it's also, been much more liberal in terms of ownership by foreign investment. So I just want to kind of stress that. And also the fact that we are much more interested in sort of global value chains actually now, including passing through India, using Indian production capacities as part of a chain. And the fact that we would be seen as trusted and seen as resilient is something which should be helpful. Regarding the immigration issue, look, again, we're talking of a more digital world, we're talking of a more technology-driven world, which really puts a premium on talent. Okay. Now, if there's one thing which India, I think, can offer to the world, it is trusted talent. You see Indians working across companies in the world. I think they've always done well. They've always, done what is the right thing in their particular environment. So there is a great deal of regard and trust for Indians and people of Indian origin. The point I would make there is a more knowledge-driven global economy will require more trusted talent. I think that's an opportunity for India. It's an opportunity which should be reflected to some degree in American immigration policies. I think immigration certainly is a win-win. If you look, you've had views on it, even in India in the last 15, 20 years. I don't think people think like that anymore. People recognize the enormous sort of role which actually Indian talent has made in the American economy, in the global economy, and come back in India, the catalytic role that they've had. So I would certainly urge that this is an area where the United States should recognize what's in American interest, and that, believe me, happens to be in Indian interest as well.
Well said, Jay, and I agree. There's intense, vibrant competition for talent and capital and supply chains. And the more the United States and India can work through some of these issues and have breakthroughs so that we are closer and closer on those fronts, the better our economic systems will be, the better recovery from COVID, and the stronger our democracies will be. Jay, you've spent a lot of time in China as Indian ambassador there. I want to ask a China question, but frame it in terms of Pakistan. Last week, Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, said, quote, "Pakistan's future is tied to China. We should be clear that our country's development has now been intertwined with China." Now, he walked back some of those remarks later, but he attributed some of that to the U.S. signing the agreement with the Taliban and then Chinese investment in Pakistan. How do you see, this aggressive China around the world, from the South China Sea to Huawei and technology, and how does that play with your delicate relationship and important relationship with Pakistan?
Well, Tim, I think obviously, like every other country in the world, we are very cognizant of the rise of China. We are an immediate neighbor of China. So obviously, if you're a neighbor, you are very directly impacted by the rise of, what I say in my book is a potential global power. Now, a lot of our attention obviously is how do we find, India has also been rising in this period, okay? Maybe not to the same degree at the same pace as China, but if you look at the last 30 years, clearly India's rise has also been one of the major global stories. So if you have two countries, two societies, 1 billion people each, with the history and culture that they have, it's very important that they reach some kind of understanding or equilibrium between them. This is a practical world. If a country is going to get more powerful, we're going to see its influence in areas, in geographies we have not seen before. We're going to see activities and capabilities that we have not seen before. Now, We will see that from China, and I dare say in some areas they will see it of us. So how do we, this modus vivendi between India and China, I actually say in my book that this is extremely consequential for both countries and actually for the rest of the world. Now, as regards, China's relationship with Pakistan, it is not something that is new. It goes back actually to the early 60s. Aspects of it have been of concern to us before. Even that is not new. And obviously that is something which we factor in our relationship with both countries.
Let me sum up here, Jay, and ask you one final question. You can spend a minute on it or as long as you'd like. How do you see America today from a military power, soft power, and prestige perspective? Are they able to execute and achieve things from a strategic viewpoint in the world today? How do you view America from that perspective?
Tim, I would say obviously the United States is going through its own debates, its own changes, its own conversations, and as a foreign country, we are very respectful of it, but we obviously follow it like the rest of the world with very great interest. The point I would make, which I do make with people in India, is look, to a large extent, these are your conversations, even if they impact the world. But we Indians should be comforted by the fact that over many administrations of both Democratic and Republican, our relationship has steadily grown. And not just over many administrations. I mean, if I come to Washington, I mean, I would have friends in both political parties and sometimes in different, a wide diversity of opinions, not me necessarily personally, but even as a country. So I think while we will, obviously follow all these developments with deep interest, and we look at the ramifications of your policy in different regions. I mean, right now, for example, what's going on vis-a-vis Afghanistan is of very deep interest to us. So all of that would happen, but I have every confidence that, the United States is the United States. And in many ways, you have a remarkable sort of sense of resilience and I would say in many ways, your footprint, the linkages you have with the world are really very, very unique. And as an Indian foreign minister, I am very assured by the fact that my relationship with the United States is in a very strong position.
That's great to hear. Well, you, as always, Jay, have been succinct and brilliant in your answers. It's so good to see you. I hope we can get together soon. I want to say thank you on behalf of John Chambers and Mukesh Aghi and all the businesses with our partnership, trying to work on deepening and improving U.S.-India relations. I think it's the most important relationship, especially between two democracies going forward. And I also, on a personal accord, Jay, want to just say how fortunate the people of India are to have somebody of your talent and dedication and public service. From somebody who has served in the United States and in China and around the world, and now as external affairs minister. I was hopeful that your son would follow in your path and go into public service, but he's going to be doing well in the private sector where I work at APCO Worldwide. We work on technology all the time, so I wish him well. And my friend, I hope to see you in person soon. Thank you for your time this evening and this morning, and I look forward to your success coming up with the 2+2.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Take care. Good to see you.
You too.
Thank Thank you, Dr. Jaishankar and Ambassador Roma. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next speaker, Chase Robinson, Director of the Arthur M. Sackler Gallery and Senior Gallery of Art at the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of Asian Art. Those remarks on the interwoven fabric of cultural